Where are you from? No, 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 no. Where are you really from? Are you mixed? What language do you speak? These are all questions that you can really find offensive or very troubling if you have a good bit of experience in other cultures overseas, or you find your self-identity kind of in a little bit of a limbo. This is kind of the existence of a lot of kids who grow up overseas or have several cultures within their home. We call these children third culture kids. TCKs. And this third culture is a culture that they are creating within themselves, within their own bubble, that is different from all the other cultures around them because it's a mix of a lot of different things that are valuable in their lives. But with these children, it's especially important to teach them about their identity and about how they are unique, and give them sort of like this home within the world. And today I'm sharing with you some books that my family loves for teaching our young boys about their place in the world, about their role within their family, and their love that their family has for them. Hi friend, I'm Sarah of My Home, Your Home, Our Home. If you haven't yet done so, hit the subscribe button and the bell notification, because I come out with videos like this every week to share about our international multicultural family life and our bilingual homeschool, and I'd love to have you join this community. Today's video, like I've said, is all about some book recommendations for TCKs, young TCKs especially. My boys are almost 3 and 1.5, and as toddlers, they don't have a lot of understanding yet of how their whole world works, but we have moved so many times with them so far in their brief lives, and we want to help them to understand who they are, where they're at in the world, and where they're from. And so these books are books that we have found helpful in that educational process. Let me just dive right in and give you these books. The first book is a lovely picture book called Where is Home, Little Pip? It's about a penguin who loses his place, and he is looking for his home. His mom and dad find him, and the book ends with this: where is home? Is it far or near? Is a pebbly nest what we all hold dear? No, home is where there's nothing to fear. Since we're together, home is right here. And little Pip slept home at last. And they're not even in their original home, but just because his parents found him, he feels safe and he knows that's home. And that's kind of the experience of a lot of TCKs, especially young children. They don't know exactly where home is, but teaching them that where family is, that's our home. Where we're together, that's our home. We're making a home right here. Another book in the same vein is Where Are You From? And this especially focuses on a little girl's experience as an immigrant into another country. And she is asked a lot, where are you from? No, where are you really from? And is your mom from here? Is your dad from there? And these questions trouble her. So she asks her grandfather, and her grandfather's answer is so poetic and also very deep, profound. So his answer is that she is from all these different pieces of culture. She is from her family's love. She is from the wide pampa, and she is from all kinds of different things. I'm not going to go over the entire book, but it's a very lovely book, well illustrated. I'll give you a little peek inside to a random page. Oh, here are the pampas. Beautiful, beautiful book.
Another book about changing homes that we recommend is My New Home by Marta Altes. This book is very simple in its text, and it is very accessible to young children. The focus of the book is on the emotions of moving, losing things, and gaining new things. The bright side of it is that though it is hard to leave behind friends and places that we love, and there are fears that we have about being lonely, worries that we have about finding new friends, we find eventually that there are lots of new adventures to be had in a new place, lots of new people to love and be loved by. One of my favorite lines from this book is, when I moved house, I felt far from home. Here, everything feels new, but new can be exciting. I think I'm very lucky. And I feel at home again. For children leaving one country and moving to another, A New Home by Tanya Di Reggio talks about moving from one city to the next and is a great side-by-side contrast of children moving to one another's cities and both facing the same fears and losses and types of gains. They will miss things, and it's a good way to anticipate a move. It's a good way to anticipate the things that will change, things that will be left behind, and to think through those things. What valuable memories will we carry with us? So it's something I would recommend even as a preparatory resource for a big move.
Another book just dealing with goodbye, grief, and loss of being an internationally traveling family or moving from one place to another is this book, Quinn Says Goodbye. And this is a Christian book, so it's written with a Christian perspective at the end about loss. It's about an owl who takes care of a lightning bug and just really grows attached to that bug, but then the bug leaves and needs to rejoin their family. And so the owl is grieving over that, trying to find where is the bug and why couldn't God have stopped this from happening. And so this book isn't just tied to the experience of loss of a home and loss of friends, but it is also tied to loss of people in our lives through death or circumstances like that. But it's a great way to bring up conversations with little kids about how God is our comforter, even in the midst of the sorrows of life, and He never leaves us. I just found this lovely book recently, and I love it. It's called Far From Home. It's about an refugee family. So this experience is where a child is woken up in the middle of a night and he's told we have to leave now, and then he goes through a really long travel experience where he's waiting and waiting and waiting, and he's growing impatient and he doesn't understand what's going on. And an older grandmother approaches him and shares with him, though it's not explicitly stated in the story, she shares with him the story of baby Jesus fleeing to Egypt, and how he was a refugee as well. And this book gives hope, as the subtitle says, a story of loss, refuge, and hope. And I think that this relates to TCKs as well, because sometimes their experience is kind of like this boy's, where it's an involuntary moving on their part. They feel kind of torn from a place and they don't have much of a say. And hopefully as parents we can help minimize that feeling by discussing, telling them what's coming, helping them anticipate, and giving them a voice in the whole process. But this book, I think, can help them also to realize that Jesus moved, that He went to Egypt and came back to Israel, and as an adult even he didn't have a place to rest his head. So it's also beautifully illustrated, which is really important to me as a picture book loving mom. I just love when books are a treat for the eyes and ears. Here's the old woman telling him the story. So this is also another book from a Christian perspective.
A recent find, Where Happiness Lives by Barry Timms. This book focuses on contentment anywhere that we live. As we compare our home to something that we had before or something that someone else has or enjoys, we can feel really discontent and think that happiness must be found in someone else's life rather than in our own. But the secret lies in being content with what we do have and realizing all the blessings that we have, being thankful for them.
This book is Os Dois Idiomas de Sofia. Our family speaks Portuguese and English. We're bilingual. So this book we have in Portuguese, but it is available in English. And it talks about a little girl whose mom is Brazilian, whose dad is American. And so she speaks two languages. And people kind of ask her, is that difficult for you? But she says, no, it's me. It's my family. And so giving kids also that confidence to be like, no, this is my family identity. This is my identity. And this is how my life is, and that's okay. It's different than other people, and that's okay. Just especially if those kids are multilingual, then this book is a great find for teaching them about how we can speak multiple languages, we can be different, and that can be something special.
One really unique struggle that expat kids or TCKs or multicultural kids have is identifying themselves with the culture that's surrounding them in a way, but also realizing they're part of their family's culture. They're part of something that is other. And the book Watercress by Andrea Wong so beautifully captures this sentiment. as the main character is resentful of her parents for gathering watercress along the side of a road and realizing that it's so foreign to the American lifestyle that she is adapting. She eventually learns that her parents' past actually plays a lot into the present, and that her uncle passed away because of famine at one point, and the family learned to gather what they can and use what they can so that they can survive. And she grows to appreciate her family and their history more as she realizes the story that is within her family.
Our last book that we recommend is called Home is in Between, and it's about a girl who immigrates from India to a city in the United States, and she is confused about her identity as well, and losing kind of parts of her culture in India, but then creating a new home. Even language and the differences there, and how inside of her house is kind of one culture, but all around her is another culture. This is perfect for TCKs because this is their life. Their family has one culture, they're surrounded by another one, and this gives a lot of, just giving them a narrative in which they fit, I think can be so helpful for TCKs to realize they're not alone, and to help them form their identity. So also beautifully illustrated. This is a very wide book. So yes, okay, it's not huge, but it is a good lap book. Again, there are not a ton of words on the page, so it's very appropriate for younger kids. All of these books are books that I would recommend for young ages. I think that you could read them with really toddlers. That's what we do, and they sit through them, they'll listen to them, but they also can be powerful for older ages, just in sparking conversations. They're simple, but that is the power of them. They provide a narrative in which children can fit and find themselves, and it can just really open doors to good conversation. So these are our book recommendations. I have other videos coming up all about TCK experience, so if you haven't yet done so, subscribe. I am trying to read a whole bunch of books this year about raising my kids as TCKs and trying to support them in that through grief, loss, transition of cultures, all of that kind of thing, and helping them build confidence and identity. So if you're interested in that, I hope that you will keep following along. If you have recommendations for other books, then leave those in the comments below. If you have recommendations for other books, we'd love to hear those. Leave those in the comments below, and I will see you guys in another video. You can check out my other multicultural bilingual family videos in the playlist and video here, and I will see you guys next time. Love you. Ciao.